So this poem is about a soldier who's returned from the war, having lost all his limbs, and it sees him reflecting on how his life was before he went to war, and then contrasting it with how it is now. The poem emphasizes the impact of war, not just on soldiers' bodies, but also on their psyche and on their life options as well. So we can see from the title already this word disabled. It has connotations of something you are unable to do. You are unable to do something. So again, already he is less than. He has lost something. The very first word, he, the, the man we're talking about, the soldier, is unnamed. We never get a name for him. So he's both a representation of many. So he could be anybody. He could be a lot of different people. He's representative of others. But it also shows that he's lost his identity. He's no longer his own person. He's just a he. Then when we look at these words in green, wheeled and waiting, they're just sitting there. It's not a wheelchair, it's a wheeled chair. Because he's lost his arms, he relies on others to wheel him. So wheeled and waiting are both about him not being able to be active and do things for himself. So he's sitting in his wheelchair waiting for dark. So he's just waiting for the day to end and shivering in his ghastly suit of grey. Already we have these colour words, dark and grey. They are quite negative colours, bland, depressive, and help to create that really depressive mood. And they're going to be contrasted with other words throughout the poem. We also have this word shivered, which is an image of cold. So he's already this cold person sitting in this dark place. So we see that he's legless and sewn short at the elbows. So he's lost his arms and legs. Through the park, voices of boys rang, saddening like a hymn. So we have this simile here, suggesting that the boys sadden him like a hymn does. But why is a hymn saddening? We know it's a religious song, so maybe that religious imagery here is talking about a funeral. So singing a hymn in a funeral, and it's a death image. Here we have voices of play and pleasure. We have that alliteration of the P sound, which is quite a light and happy sound, and that's contrasted to the heavy and depressed mood of the poem. Till gathering sleep had mothered them from him. So sleep is his only respite. That makes him removed from reality. Reality is not where he finds peace. It's in sleep that he finds it. So he's ostracized and alienated from society. And here we have this word mothered that creates him as a childlike figure. He's no longer manly and masculine, but is reliant on others. Yeah, a mother is a child that relies on someone. So women throughout the poem will see the contrast between a woman as a carer, so a mother role, which is a caring role, as opposed to being lovers, which they are no longer for him. Then we move into stanza 2. So we have this word here, used to. Well, these two words, used to. So about this time, town used to swing so gay. We have this used to phrase is elegiac. It's past. It's remembering the past and mourning the past. So here we begin our past and present being juxtaposed. So we have the present in the first stanza, and now we're having the past. Then we have the alliteration of the G words, so swing so gay when glow lamps budded in the light blue trees and girls glanced lovelier as the air grew dim. The alliteration of G just links those idealized images together. So we get this lovely image of, going out at night and having fun and flirting with girls. And they're linked together, these ideas, through the alliteration. Here we have the air growing dim. That's another colour sort of word, but there's a contrast between the word dark up in stanza 1 and the word dim in this stanza. Dim is quite romantic, which, you turn the lights down dim. It's a romance thing to do, which links to the girls. While dark is menacing and depressing and empty. So we have that contrast already here. So in the old times, again, so that's an elegiac way of saying something, before he threw away his knees. This is him losing his legs. But the word threw is like it's careless and reckless and a sacrifice that's nothing. It's been thrown away. Okay, it hasn't been purposeful. He just threw them away for no reason. And it's similar to that word flung that we see in Dulce et decorum est. So now he will never feel again how slim girls' waists are. Never is such a final term that has a finality about it. He will never. It's not a possibility anymore. And warm, so he'll never feel how warm their subtle hands are. He'll never feel the warmth of a woman's hands again. Again, we have this contrast between warm here and shivered, this cold image, as opposed to this warm image of what it was like before he went to the war. We have all of them touch him like some queer disease. All is universal. It's not that some of them touch him like a disease, all of them touch him like a disease. And this simile, like some queer disease, is this sickness imagery. He is the sickness. They don't touch him like he has a queer disease, do they? They touch him like he is a queer disease. So it's a reminder of a diseased society as well. He is a symptom and a representation of a diseased society caused by war and manifested through war. So moving on to stanza 3. There was an artist silly for his face. So there was an artist that thought he was beautiful and wanted to, paint pictures of him. For it was younger than his youth last year. First we have alliteration of the Y sound, which is just used here to emphasize and highlight, because what it's highlighting is his youth. It's making that important because he's going to contrast it in this next line to now he is old. Okay, so that contrast between the youth and the age. He's lost his colour very far from here. We have another colour word where we had dark and grey, both colour words. Here he's lost his colour in the war. So colour we know can be a symbol for energy and for life and virility and health, which contrasts to how he is now. So he's lost all his colour. And he's poured it down shell holes till the veins ran dry. The word poured is an active verb and suggests that he's partly responsible, and his naivety is partly responsible for his own loss. Okay, so that's an active. He has done it. And half his lifetime lapsed in the hot race. So he's pouring his colour out of his veins, and he's pouring half his life away with it. These last 3 lines use imagery to create the scene of him losing his limbs and half of his life and losing his colour. And we have this word purple, the leap of purple spurting from his thigh, so his blood running out of his legs, and this leap of colour, all the colour rushing out of him. We have this link to this next stanza, so it's blood running out of his thigh, blood running out of his leg, and then we have one time he liked a blood smear down his leg after the matches carried shoulder high. We have this sports imagery, and sport has often been linked with battle and with war, but here it's contrasted. So the contrast is shown to be that he used to enjoy playing sport, and that was masculine to get a little bit of a blood smear on your leg. You've been playing hard and you carried shoulder high because you're victorious, and then you're getting a bit drunk here, so you're drinking, and there's victory and glory in sport. So it also tells us that he's drunk a peg, and that's when he thought he'd better join the war, so he did it when he was drunk. And he wonders why. We've got alliteration used there, wonders why, which it's a questioning word, obviously, why, and him wondering, so it's emphasizing that question of why he did that. So someone said he looked a god in kilt, someone said he looked nice in the uniform, that's why, and maybe too to please his Meg. Aye, that was it, to please the giddy jilts. So Meg and giddy jilts are references to women, and references to women who are no longer interested in him is what we know.